Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. My name is Achola Simon, and of course, this is the Western Spectrum, a program that comes to you every Monday from 8 to 9, bringing you issues that affect the people over this part of the country, and of course, to a large extent, the entire country. And of course, the beehive of activities here. Victor, when you look at exactly what is happening in our background, we are right, the viewer is actually right on time for this particular program, while we are actually right on time to capture the pictures of people or the fishermen and those involved in that value chain. Collect fish from the lake from fishermen who've actually spent the entire night in the lake looking for fish, and of course women, men, and young people also here trying to buy fish from the boats, and then of course from there they'll be heading to various markets, various eateries, and every other place to ensure that indeed they can actually sell their fish stocks. But also critically, I'll just tell you that the produce in this country is about 160,000 metric tons of fish each year to around 300,000 metric tons. That is, of course, against the country's demand of 600,000 metric tons of fish. The question then you'll be asking yourself is that then how do we bridge the gap to ensure that indeed there are about 300,000 to 400,000 metric tons that is a deficit that can actually be produced here in the country because of the potential that has in terms of providing employment opportunities for the young people and of course each and everyone involved in that value chain. And of course young people have actually been engaging and taking a step towards ensuring that indeed they can actually tap in the vast potential of this sector. And key amongst the issues they've actually actively engaged themselves in is the use or adaptation of cage fish farming in Lake Victoria. But of course, those that have actually been online have seen quite a number of times that stories that we've actually told of fish dying in fish cages each and every day. And of course, we have a young farmer here in Kisumu who is actually engaging in cage fish farming, but they are adapting AI in terms of ensuring that indeed they can actually be given fast-time or real-time information of exactly where the oxygen levels, the mineral levels, and of course the pH levels in the lake, so that then they don't lose their fish. Karibu sana, Dennis. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Tell me, when did you involve yourself, when do you start involving yourself in cage fish farming?
Thank you so much, Bwana Simon. My name is Dennis Mafimbo. I'm a fish farmer at Dunga Beach. I started this program or the farm a few years ago, that is like 5 years ago. And from then, we've been struggling with rearing fish. And of course, we've been facing so many challenges.
Dennis, before we go to the challenges, because of course there are a number need to surmount, right? The question then we'll be asking ourselves is that as a young person, what actually prompted you to get into this sector?
I've been, before I started fish farm, I was a fisherman. And therefore, I could spend the whole night in the lake and then come back to the land with nothing. So the demand of fish was so high, and then by then the supply was very low, and it resulted to a very high price of the fish. And so I came up with an idea. I copied it from somewhere. We had some guests from Japan that came up with a new technology, and that is now the fish farming.
The cage farming. So we'd want to know how many cages do you have in the lake, and how popular is this activity in the lake, and especially in this region?
Thank you so much. We have so many cages around the lake. To be specific, in Dunga Beach, we have over 300 fish cages, and they belong to different people. I only have maybe a few of them. And it's a I can say it's a good business.
Mbona unaogopa kutuambia? Ni ngapi hizi? How many are they?
I have different cages of different sizes. I have the plastic cages, which is now recommended by the government. I also have the metal cages of different sizes. That is from 5 meters by 5 meters. We move all the way to 12 meters by 6 meters. And we also have round cages that measure up to 20 diameter. Yes.
Fantastic. Action. You've said when we started the conversation, you said that one of the challenges that you actually met while fishing at night was that you'll actually go out in the lake, spend the entire night, and then you're coming back. Of course, the fish stocks are not there, and you also come back empty-handed. So in terms of production, how reliable is the issue of cage fish farming? Is it something that a young person would actually go in knowing that indeed, at the end of the 6 months, at the end of whichever period that I'm supposed to be keeping this fish, that I'll actually be in a position to get enough stock for myself? And how predictable is it?
There we are certain that at the end of the year, we must harvest fish. So it's something that you can be certain about. Yes.
So then, how do we get more people? Because as we all know, the climate change and all other factors that are actually affecting the lake and the basin as a whole, the fish stock has actually dwindled for over the years. And the demand, when you look at the demand, the statistics that I began with, between 170 to 200,000 metric tons to about 300,000 that is actually produced in the country, vis-a-vis the demand of 600,000 metric tons. How then do we bridge the gap? When you look at what is happening in the lake, do you think we are putting enough effort in terms of ensuring that more and more people can actually adapt this technology, cage fish farming, so that then we can actually get where we're supposed to be?
Actually, I think for us to bridge this gap, we need more fish cages. And I would encourage anyone that would like to venture into this business that it's a good one, and we should have more people. And but again, we have some other challenges, which maybe we'll talk about later.
Yes. Saying that we can actually get more and more fish. So then how do we get this support? Are we getting this support from our own pockets, or then youth who actually want to participate or be actively engaged in cage fish farming? Are they getting this support from non-state actors, non-governmental organizations, or they're getting it from county governments? Where exactly are they getting this support, or this is an individual effort?
I'll say that this is an individual effort. But again, we also get some little support from the NGOs. Government, they have been silent on this. They are only planning to increase the tax. Yes.
It's a complaint that everybody is having. One of the major challenges that we've had, and we've covered you a number of times, right, is the fact that you wake up in the morning, you're going to feed your fish, and they are all dead. How many times have you encountered this, and what exactly is the issue?
We have encountered that twice personally. I've encountered that twice. That was last year and this year. And this year I lost over 10 million. Last year it wasn't that big. But we are being affected by so many things. Number one, we have got these big companies that discharge their untreated waste into the lake, and they have been affecting us so much. Yes.
Dennis, 10 million, you are saying it casually, but when you lose 10 million shillings, where do you start from?
Like I said earlier, that I've got more cages. And therefore, 10 million is just like 3 cages. Yeah. So if I lose 3 cages, that will be equivalent to 10 million. Yes.
Like, how do you pick up yourself from that state and go back? Because even as we speak right now, some of your colleagues are actually in the lake mending the nets, and they're anticipating that on Thursday there'll be fingerlings that actually be brought. How then do you pick up yourself as a young person, as a fisherman or a fish farmer in the lake? How then do you pick up yourself to ensure that you actually continue this venture?
Whenever we lose such amount of money, now we have to wait for like 6 to 8 months so that we harvest the other ones, and now we use that money to maybe buy fingerlings for these cages that we lost. But we don't always expect anything from the government, and maybe the NGOs might step in, but may not support you fully.
We move from a situation whereby we are expecting our fish to actually die in the cages and waiting for another 6 or 8 months before then we can actually restock them. Are there modalities that you people have actually explored? Because I remember the government has been very keen on beach management units to try and make them, convert them into financial or as circles, to try and convert them into circles, and actually inculcate that culture of saving and ensuring that those that are actually directly involved in a fish sector can actually draw their resources from those circles and actually get resources to restock their fish if they want to. Are those services available in these beaches? And is it something that young people are actually exploring in terms of ensuring that they can actually use them as a fallback position when, this happens?
No, I would say no. No, yeah.
Why are you guys not being safe?
I remember last year when we had the highest mortality. We were promised that we will get compensated. We waited for that. Up to date, we've never seen any form of help from anyone, to be specific, from the government, as they promised.
Young people are actually adopting technology and saying that this is what we are doing with our technology to ensure that life is easier, that we can actually rake in more resources, and we can actually make profits. And you are amongst the 3 people in this region that have actually adopted AI in terms of ensuring that they understand the mineral levels in the water, they understand the pH levels in the water, and oxygen levels in water. So then we can actually avert the issue of losing fish each and every year, because then we are doing a zero-sum exercise where you sit and you are basically sure that your fish will die at some point, right? So tell us about that tool and what actually prompted you guys to actually adopt AI in terms of safeguarding your fish in the cages.
Before we introduced the AI tool, we would move from one place to another. For instance, when you lose some fish here, then you will move your cages from this point to another point. But again, we came up with the idea of the AI tool, which has been so helpful to us, because of late we've been getting data and information from the AI tool that we have installed around our cages. Yeah. So the AI tool, it really helps us a lot. Number one, it will give you the exact water parameter. That is the water quality, that is the water pH, salinity. All that, we'll get them in our phone. So we introduced the AI tool, and it has got an antenna that is connected on the land. So the AI tool, we use it inside the lake. But again, we've got an antenna which translates all that information, and it sent us into our phones.
How important?
That is very, very important, because it will inform you when the dissolved oxygen is very low. It will inform you when the water pH drops. You know, for the optimum water pH, it should range from 6.5 to 8.5. When it's become too acidic, the AI tool will also advise you on what to do. For instance, when the water pH drops to 1 or to 2, that is a very strong acid. Now the AI tool will now provide you with the information on how to use the sea salt to moderate the water pH or to equalize the water pH. And again, the AI, when it detects that the dissolved oxygen is very, very low, sometimes it's go down up to 0. So when it's detects that it has gone down, it will send you information again on what to do. So you can either move your cage or you can use an aerator. Aerator, you can purchase them from all these aqua shops, though it's a little bit expensive. But if you use an aerator, you will find yourself saving your fish from mortality.
Yeah, I touched on something that I wanted to ask, is that when the AI tool gives you information, the water parameters around that cage, right? And you feel that the parameters are not conducive for your fish, then as you alluded to it, is that when fish dies here, then you need to move the cage to somewhere else, right? Does it also indicate some of the toxins that are actually coming in? And they say that this is the type of toxins that are actually coming into the lake. And then it is simple or easier for you guys to know that this is coming from this direction and this is how we're going to deal with it.
The recent AI that we installed, it has got the ability to do so. It has got the ability to detect any form of waste, and it will translate it in a way that you can understand it. So, and that's why I said that we've got big companies around here that produces they produce untreated waste into the lake. And the recent AI tool has got the ability to detect that this is an acid that is coming in. This is a very harmful substance that is getting into the lake. And you understand that this is also like a gulf. So the waves around this region or the water current around this region are not that strong to mix up this harmful substance and spread it into the lake so that it can reduce its it can reduce on the rate on how it can kill the fish. So the recent AI has got that ability, and it can really detect anything.
Anyone who's watching this
saying and asking themselves question, how safe is the fish that we actually producing from cages around this place? Because you say, of course, the current, the waves do not have, because this is a gulf, then the current do not actually ensure that there's enough aeration as much as we would want. And then also coupled with the fact that the big companies in the basin keep releasing the effluent into the lake. How safe is the fish that we're actually producing in here, and what modalities are we putting in place to ensure that as we produce, we can actually test the fish before we release it to the market?
That's a good question. The fish that we produce here are very, very healthy. You know, the fish is something that it's afraid of any toxic substance. So whenever it inhales maybe a little amount of toxic, it will definitely die. So whenever you say we harvest fresh fish, it means that it's good for consumption. Yes, and that's why we always test it before we even sell it to the other people, or before we take it into the market, just to show them that it's very healthy.
Given this,
how then do we get more people? How do you convince more young people to actually start engaging in these activities? Clearly, there's potential, vast potential that is actually remains untapped. How then do you ensure that more and more young people like you are actually venturing into this business so that then they can actually exploit this potential?
What we are doing right now, we are creating youth groups to involve more youths into these activities. So after creating youth groups, we donate some little cash, and we involve everyone in this group to take part in this activity, the fish farming. Now you'll find that like around here, we have so many youth groups. They are about 5, and each group has got like 12 to 20 members. So when you give them, or when you donate to them 1 kg, all of them get involved in this activity. It helps in a good way. It helps them for their daily life. It's also reduce the rate of crime around this area. That's why we are so safe here. And again, you also involve some as securities at night, because you also have to spend the night over there and watching over the cages.
Let's talk about value chain. When you look at the fish sector, one of the issues that have actually constantly come up in the recent past has been the fact that we consume just about 30% of fish. The rest of the products are actually thrown: the bones, the scales, the fish mondo, and even the skin. So we actually just utilize about 30 to 40% of the fish. Are we looking at, as young people in this sector, are we looking at how we can actually cash in more from the fish to ensure that, one, the scales will be used for something else, the bones will be used for something else, the skin will be used for something else, and even just the fish itself, because when you sell it as a full package, as a whole package, then you get very little. But when you put it into fillets and you use other components, then you are basically using everything from the leg, from the fish, and you are getting more. So what are we doing as young people around the lake to ensure that indeed we can actually expand that value chain and exploit it to the maximum?
There was a program that we started that was dealing with fish filleting, because we were looking into a situation whereby we can use the flesh, we can consume that, we can use the bones for some other activities or some other things, and we can use the air sac or the airbag, that is the mondo. We can use it for to make some little threads that can also be used in hospitals. So the program failed because there was a lack of support from maybe the government and some other NGOs. So right now, and that's why we shifted all the way to rearing only tilapia, because tilapia, we consume 80% of it. What we throw away is only the bones, but we are consuming everything. So when it's come to Nile perch, you are right that we only consume 30%. That is only the flesh. Right now we are throwing away the air sac or the airbag, that is the mondo. We are throwing away the gills, which can also be used in another way, and we are also throwing away the scales and the skin. So as at now, we are working on a certain program that will ensure that we consume that Nile perch. Maybe 90% of it is being consumed. Maybe the bones in those are the only things that we will be throwing away. But the skin, the gills, the airbag, we'll be starting using that to make some other products.
And even the oil. How do you accelerate
the process? Because the thing is that we keep saying that we are planning. We are very good at planning in this country. We are very good at planning and hoping that things will actually materialize at some point. How then do we accelerate the process? How do we create synergies with other institutions, the government, non-state actors, so that then this process can actually be accelerated? What needs to be done in your view?
I think we really need to involve government in this, and they also need to step in to help us, because when they do so, I think so many things will change. We will also start rearing tilapia, And I think there will be job creation again. There will be more opportunities again. As at now, I have a group of 10 energetic guys that we have really involved government in this to step in and help us. We are targeting on a way that we can use the air sac to create some shoe, and the gills. We also want to use them to make some brush, and also we want to use the skin to make some plastics. So that is the program that is underway right now, and we are hoping that the government will chip in, because we've knocked those offices and we are only waiting for their feedback.
The biggest complaint for many financial institutions and even non-governmental organizations that actually worked around the lake has been the fact that people involved in the fish sector, one, they do not want to save in the bank. They want to get their money today, spend it the entire night, and then go back to the lake again and look for more resources. How are we coping with this? Because this is a culture that has been there for quite some time, and you're a young man. And the figures they've actually told me, 10 million plus. That is quite some amount of money. Hii pesa unapata alafu unapotelea hapa town ama unafanya namna gani?
Simon, it's true that the fishermen don't want to save their money in the bank. That is very true. Right now, I think only 20% of the fishermen are doing savings with the bank and with the SACCOs. The biggest challenge we have around here is we really don't trust the banks.
Why? Why so? Why? Unaenda kuangalia bank
Kama pesa yako iko sawa? Kama umefunga. Why don't you trust the bank?
So again, I sat down with these guys and I've been asking them the same question. Same question. These fishermen, they need quick money. And I would advise that if we can have SACCOs that can be giving loans.
Quick money, you mean the
liquid cash that can actually be used today and tomorrow and the day after, as and when they want, and not actually go to queue in the banks waiting for their money to be approved, right?
Exactly. You see, let's take an example of the activities that are going on here right now. See, these fishmongers, they get their fish from the boat. But have you noticed that all of them are paying in cash? It means that in the next 2 hours, these fishermen, they will need their money in cash, and they would want to spend it up to evening, and then they go back to the lake. So they don't always want to save in the bank. That is the major challenge we have right here.
But that is strange, because this part...
We are famed for, one, adopting technology and using, cards and gadgets in terms of just transacting. How then do we instill that culture of one, saving, allowing our cash to be? Because when you have 1 million shillings, right, surely you cannot spend it in a day. And what happens to the remaining cash when you go back to the lake? Do you put it in the bank? Do you carry it along into the lake? Or what exactly happens? So, there's need to actually ensure that people can actually save, and institutions can actually tap into the vast resources that are actually into the lake. The question then I need to ask next is, clearly from the discussion we've had, this is a sector that can actually employ a number of youths, that can actually provide real jobs for the youth. How then do we ensure that more and more people are actually into this sector, one, and then two, an advice to the young people out there, what do they need to do to ensure that they can actually start this business? Or this is a close-knit business unit that very few people are actually allowed to get into?
No, everyone is allowed to...
So how then do you get us
in the lake and actually now begin the the journey?
If you want to begin your journey here, first of all, you need to have capital. That is mandatory. Number two, you need to live with the BMU so that they can give you space. Why do you need to live to involve the BMU in this? Because when we will have the mortality, the BMU will collect that data and submit them to the government. When you need a space, BMU must be involved, because when anything happens to you, the BMU will be responsible for everything. So after that, you will need to look for a good caretaker. What do I mean by saying caretaker? Caretaker is someone that will be feeding the fish every day, will be having the discussion with these guys. And again, the caretaker will be looking after the cages, that is at night and daytime. So having that in mind, after having a good caretaker, then you will be good to go. You will be starting your business.
The other question is the security of these cages. I know you have alluded to it by one, having a caretaker, and then two, also ensuring that some of the youth that used to be idle here can actually take care of those or provide security in the lake. How then do you ensure that indeed the fish, that you have real-time information of what is happening in the lake, and if need be, that you can actually involve the police or security agents in terms of just ensuring that their cages are safe? Because an investment of 10 million shillings is no child play, and that cannot just be left to an individual.
So right now we don't involve our police officers, because police officer, I hope no one will be able to spend the whole night in the lake and maybe the whole day in the lake, because they are afraid of the lake. That is number one. Now, what we normally do, we have youths around here that we always involve as security guards to look after the cages. That is number one. Number two, apart from the AI tool, we have also installed so many CCTVs around. So whenever any activity is going on, I will be able to see it here in my phone. So when the things are not right, I'll be able to notice that. When we have an intruder, I'll be able to know that and take an action. That is, maybe that's where we now involve the police to come and maybe do some arrest. That is if we have an intruder. And again, our security guards, we also we have gadgets for communications. So when everything is not right, we'll be able to. Yeah.
In conclusion, Dennis, there's a very sensitive topic that we want to discuss in conclusion. And this has been the issue of the spread of HIV/AIDS in the beaches, right? And I have listened to you, and I have listened to the amount of money that you're actually talking about and the potential of this sector. One, how is this important, cage fish farming? How is it important in the stop of the spread of the HIV virus in the region?
I've heard about such stories about the spread of HIV and AIDS along this region. And I want to say that there was a popular belief that around the lake, the spread of HIV and AIDS is very high. I think that is not right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. That is wrong. Let me talk. Let me give you a report concerning that when it relates to fish farming. You know, around the fish farm, I think we don't always have time for other things. It has been work from morning to evening. So sasa wewe unachoka, utakuwa na hiyo time ya kuspread hii HIV sangapi. Ndio nakuelezea. And again,
the argument has been that when you come from the lake and at night, the lady who actually picks that fish from the boat must either be your girlfriend or your wife, because of the dwindling fish stock. Because if you're coming back with just a kg of fish, and we have all these people waiting for that fish, then it means there'll be some preferential treatment. Either that person will give you more money, or there's something else they are giving you. So how rampant is that?
Whatever you are talking about, it used to be there, but it stopped. Let me give you an example of where we are right now at Dunga Beach. The BMU did away with that. So right now, if you want to pick the fish from the boat, maybe the fish is just a kg, and we have a queue of maybe 10 ladies. Yes. Whatever we'll do, we'll just hike the price of the fish, so that whoever meets that target or whoever meets that price will fetch away the fish. But hiyo kitu ya sijui you need to be my girlfriend, hiyo iliisha. Iliisha.
Then the other question
is about what we're getting from the cages. Is it the medicine or the antidote to the dwindling fish stock in the lake? Is it predictable? Are you sure that when I'm going out today, I'll be getting enough fish stock for my people out there?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. When there's no mortality, I'm telling you, we can meet the target, because whatever we are doing there, we always have a target to meet. Let's talk about maybe you want to produce maybe 40 tons. That is in a month. So whenever you start harvesting, you will have to make sure that you meet your target of 40 tons. And that's why we have so many cages, and we do restocking like each and every month, so that the supply chain can always continue. We don't want a situation whereby we can do harvesting for 1 month, then wait for another 1 year. Yeah. So we always have cages in sequence. After every month, we install another one. After every month, or after every 2 weeks, we install another cage. So that when we start harvesting, the harvesting will flow throughout the year, so that we meet the demand of the consumers. Yes.
in conclusion,
Yes, that you'd want to tell the relevant authorities, those that are actually involved in this sector, the researchers, the government, the county government, and of course other players like non-governmental organizations. What do you want to tell them, so that then, of course, we can actually grow this sector? Just 1 minute before we conclude.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank the fisheries. They have been supporting us, not financially, but with a lot of research. They always do a lot of research and then give us a report. Number two, I would encourage the government to step in and help us. That is to reduce price of feeds, and also to support young people, maybe the youth, just to reduce the crime rate. I also want to thank some non-governmental organizations that have been standing with us, that have been supporting us. Some have been doing a good job.
That is Dennis Mafimbo, one of the cage fish farmers here in Dunga Beach. Of course, just delving deeper on exactly what is happening here by the Dunga Beach, and of course calling on the youth to venture into this field. He says that just a couple of cages, you are able to actually nail about 10 million shillings and over. Now that is quite some amount, but of course also calling on the line institutions, the government institutions, and of course county government, to ensure that indeed they can actually invest in this sector, to ensure that indeed they can actually grow this sector. But quite interesting is the fact that they're actually employing the use of AI to ensure that they can actually detect water parameters, and they can actually tell where the affluents are coming from. What we'll of course be asking him off camera is what they're actually doing to ensure that indeed they can actually talk to these institutions and actually talk to relevant line institutions, so then these companies can actually stop releasing the affluents into the lake. Of course, this is a conversation that will continue.